Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 ways that I am able to be more sustainable. I feel like I've improved a vast amount in the past year, and yeah, I feel like a different person. If I think back to how I used to be to how I am now, it's very different, and it's all stems from being scared about the destruction of the environment around us and climate change not being climate change anymore. It's actually a climate emergency. I'm just going to be talking about things that an individual person can do to inspire you to make small changes, but I've kind of reached the stage where I think it's not just about the individual anymore. I think it's about movements of people. I think it's about challenging massive corporations. I don't think in the UK we have a particularly good leadership at the moment. You've got Trump in America, who is a climate change denier. It's really scary times, and I think although there are these lovely things you can do as an individual that make you feel better and do make a difference, I've got to the stage now where I think we've got to move on to bigger things. But these things are important as well, and these are things you can do without having to challenge authority. So I'm going to be talking to you about the 10 most important things that I do. Before I go any further with the video, I'm really grateful to be able to say that SKILLSHARE are sponsoring another one of my videos. So for those of you that don't know SKILLSHARE, they are an online learning community for creators. They have over 25,000 classes in design, business, freelancing, illustration, video production, photography, and lots more. SKILLSHARE is really affordable. It works out at less than $10, so about £8 a month for an annual subscription. And it's also kind of a low waste gift idea for yourself or your friends or your family. You're not purchasing anything physical, you're just giving the gift of learning. SKILLSHARE are very kindly offering a 2-month free trial to all of my viewers. All you need to do is click the link in the description to sign up. Let's start with one of the most important things. So one of the most important changes that I've made in my life is to stop buying new things. Now I'm just really trying to make do with what I have and challenge the perception that we seem to have as a society that we need brand new things and they can't be a little bit scruffy, they can't have a stain on them, they can't have holes in them. And I really disagree with that mentality. I think we're living in a times now where the resources of our planet are being stretched to the extreme, and if we want these sparkly new products all the time, we're just continuing that momentum of destruction. So I go on eBay for anything I want to buy. I recently bought some Converse, some high top white Converse. I found a nearly new pair. I will also show you a few new to me things that I've recently bought. One of them is this kind of crazy waistcoat that I'm wearing today. I really like it. We also buy second-hand furniture. We are big fans of mid-century furniture, so eBay is a great place for that. I just want to illustrate to you just how much I delay buying new things. These are my slippers that I wear every day. I've worn them every day for the past 3 years, I think now. They have holes in them. They are all torn around the edges. These are kind of like my work shoes, because every day I'm at home in my studio working, and every day I'm wearing these. But I refuse to buy a new pair just because these are scruffy and falling apart. They still fit on my foot, they still keep my feet warm, the soles are still supportive and intact, so I'm not going to buy new ones. My next tip would be to visit your local bulk store. We live in the countryside, which is about an hour and a half away from the nearest city, but we still have a local bulk store, which is amazing. If you don't have a local bulk store, I would recommend looking in health food shops, because a lot of them now tend to have things that you can buy in bulk. Even if you can't buy everything in bulk, they'll have some containers where you can buy maybe like dish soap in bulk. We buy a lot of our grains and our nuts and seeds and dried fruit from our local bulk store. So this is brown rice, and I also have some sesame seeds, polenta. Our local bulk store has been amazing at helping us to cut down in our plastic waste, because before we'd buy plastic packages of brown rice, and now we just completely eliminate that step and we buy it and put it straight into our containers. When we do have plastic waste, when it's unavoidable, which it is in today's society, isn't it? There are just times when you have to buy your food in plastic, but when you have plastic, you can cut it up and put it into a plastic bottle that you can have turned into an eco brick. I'm going to leave links to the website where you can find out all the information about making an eco brick. But what you do is you get a plastic bottle. We don't have many plastic bottles usually in our household, except for when we have guests. We will buy things like tonic water. So I've been saving the bottles, and then you cut up little bits of plastic. We have lots of black plastic that we put into our bottles because in our local area they don't recycle black plastic. It has to be dry and clean plastic. We use the handle of a ladle and just push all the plastic down into the bottle. You're supposed to make it very compact so it can be used as a brick, as building materials to build houses. I just think this is an amazing idea because none of the plastic will end up in the ocean. It will be part of buildings, which obviously humanity needs shelter, so these bricks are pretty essential. Something else I've been doing is making my own cleaning supplies. I really love doing this. I actually only make one spray, which I use around the whole of my house. This cleaner is amazing. For me, it works just as well as one that you would buy in store. The vodka is the disinfectant. The vinegar lifts like grease and dirt. Obviously you're saving on a lot of packaging as well because you're not buying a new spray bottle every time you run out. If you don't want to have alcohol in your house, then you could replace the vodka with witch hazel. I've heard that's a really good cleaning ingredient. So like I said, we live in kind of imperfect times and it's hard to avoid plastic. And I think that can be true in terms of cosmetics. For me, I have a cream that I use for my eczema, comes in plastic. I also am not someone who gets on with natural zero waste toothpaste. So I use tubes of toothpaste. Occasionally I buy mouthwash because I don't want to have fillings in my teeth in future. And sunscreen, things like that, comes in plastic, you can't help it. So there is a scheme called TerraCycle. I'm not sure if they're a UK company or if they're worldwide, but definitely look them up because they're a really interesting company. They will recycle very specific things. In particular, I wanted to make you aware of the recycling scheme which is happening. The Body Shop is one shop that I can think of off the top of my head that has these TerraCycle boxes in the store, and you can take any plastic that's been used to hold your cosmetics. It doesn't have to be from the Body Shop, it can be from anywhere as long as what you're bringing them is clean, washed out, dry, and then they will recycle these things for you. Something else that I've been implementing for, I want to say about 2 years now, is using a moon cup and also Thinx underwear. So these are really amazing products for when you're on your period and you don't want to produce a lot of waste. It's not something I had thought about until a couple of years ago when I found out about these products. But of course, every single month you are using these products and you are throwing them away, and they don't biodegrade, they just sit in a landfill. So I really appreciate these products that come out to help you have a more zero waste period, and the Moon Cup has been working amazingly well for me. I have zero complaints about it. A small little thing that I did recently but feels very satisfying is that I cancelled all of my junk mail. It wasn't actually my junk mail, it belonged to the previous owner of this house. She must have signed up to a lot of catalogues because we have been inundated, and all of these catalogues come in these really frustrating, annoying plastic sleeves, which just annoys me so much. I finally got in contact with the companies and they were actually really helpful. They said, if you give us the code on the front of your catalogue, we'll be able to tell you if your address has been signed up to a scheme. So there are these larger scale marketing operations that will target your house. If you've ordered one catalogue before, you will also be sent lots of other catalogues as well. It kind of links you up with lots of different companies. So I was able to stop all of the junk mail, which is amazing. I'm sure we'll still get a few little bits and pieces, but just as long as we stop getting those really annoying big catalogues that just go straight into recycling. If you are in a similar situation to me, I recommend looking into it and fixing it because it is a satisfying feeling. The next thing that I'm going to talk about quite briefly, because if you followed my channel for a while, I talk about this subject quite a lot and I'm passionate about it. One of the most eco-friendly decisions that I've made is to adopt a vegan diet. There was a study about a week ago that came out from the UN that categorically said that a vegan diet is the most climate-friendly diet that you can be on at the moment. This report is really interesting. I recommend reading it. It kind of outlines all of the ways that animal agriculture is affecting our planet, because I think you can think, oh, I'm just eating this piece of beef, how can that possibly be that bad for the environment? But then you need to consider that that piece of beef was a cow that was producing methane, and also that cow was being fed throughout its whole life to fatten it up. And that feed sometimes comes from areas in the Amazon that have been cleared to make animal feed. I think a lot of people think that soy production is bad for the environment and causes deforestation, and it does, but that's only because that soy is being fed to animals. A very, very small portion of the soy is fed to humans. Cut out the middleman, just eat the plants instead of eating the plants through the animals. Okay, the last thing, I hope I am on number 10 now. The last thing is something that I've recently started to make myself more aware of, is understanding the difference between degradable things and biodegradable and compostable, and what all those different terms mean, because I think in this day and age we've really got to watch out for greenwashing. Something that I've fallen into is buying degradable dog poo bags, and I thought I was making the more eco-friendly choice, but then when I actually looked into it, degradable doesn't mean that it turns to nothing. It means that it degrades into tiny pieces of plastic that end up in the environment forever. So I recently switched to biodegradable dog poo bags. They are made out of cornstarch, I believe, or some sort of natural plant-based materials, and I've been reading up on it, and apparently even if these bags go to landfill, which they probably will, because we won't be able to put them with our compost, because that compost goes on food and you don't want to put dog poo on food that is growing. So our dog poo bags do go on our bin and do go to landfill, but because it's made out of cornstarch, that it does actually biodegrade and becomes nothing, which is amazing. It's definitely worth doing research on all the different terms and trying to see through some of the greenwashing that's going on. It just goes to show that you just never stop learning, because I'm still learning different little things that and making small little adjustments to my life. Just takes a while, doesn't it? It takes a while, and it's just ever evolving. But if I could just say one eco-friendly tip above all others, would just be to think before you buy. I think one of the reasons we found ourselves with this big issue, this big global issue of the climate emergency, is because we've been greedy. We've enjoyed consuming. We've set our standards of living higher and higher and higher, at least in the richer countries we have. And we are over-consuming now, and our carbon footprint is just enormous because we have this really high standard of living and thinking that we need to have all of this brand new stuff. Really ask yourself, do I need this thing? Do I need this? Really try to be conscious about your decisions when it comes to consuming things. I'm really not perfect at this at all. I have things like iPhones and cameras and computers, which are obviously quite bad for the environment, and the way that the little parts are mined is quite destructive. I know all of that, but I feel like I justify it because I need it for my job. So as long as you can find a really good way of justifying why you need these things, and just being really conscious about why you make your certain purchases. Is it to impress someone? Is it because you want to make a statement about yourself? Just try and be conscious about what you're buying and whether you need it, and don't feel ashamed about walking around with holes in your clothes or holes in your slippers, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're incredibly lucky to have the resources that we have, and to have roofs over our head and food, and we don't need to have these brand new things all of the time. We can make do, we can mend. I've recently got into sewing my clothes, trying to take better care of what I already have. We live in such a throwaway society that I think the only way we appreciate our stuff is if it's brand new. But you can get that same sense of satisfaction just by looking after what you already have and making it new again. So that's everything I'm going to talk about in this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments some sustainable tips that you have. If I missed anything, if I got something wrong, let me know, because I'm still learning. I'm really not an expert on this at all. I just try my best. I will leave links to certain things that I've mentioned in the description as well. I'll see you again very soon for more videos. Bye!